Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Today is December 14, 2018. I'm so much willing to have a word with you about one of my favorite authors, late Dr. Wayne Dyer. I've been reading his books, I've been listening to his voices. I have always been a predominant follower of his work. So 2 days back when I was having a session, I had to make a reference about Dr. Wayne Dyer. So I thought of making this video because the reference that I made in that session was about how you can manifest your own destiny. And in 1990s, Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra came across with a very big philosophical book, How to Get What You Really Want. Of course, the really word is repeated 4 times in that book. How to get what you really want. Later part of the video, you will understand why that word really is being repeated 4 times. I'd like to first of all start with a story of 4 philanthropists. There were 4 philanthropists. They wanted to do something for the nation. So they started with a jail where all the culprits were put into. So they got into the jail, and as they saw the prisoners, they were not quite okay with what was happening with the prisoners. And the 4 people had a lot of mercy over the prisoners. So the first philanthropist said, I am not very much okay with the kind of water that they are consuming here. So I would like to use all my resources. I would like to donate my funds for making the water so much purified. So the first philanthropist was into the work of purifying the water in the prison. Second philanthropist, he came and he looked into the prisoners and he said that these people are taking rest on the rocks and the stones and the place is not neat. So I would like to fund for the bedding. I would like to give all my money donating for their comfort. I would like to give the beds for all the prisoners, he said. So one took care of the water, another took care of the sleeping and comfort. The third person, he got into that jail and he said the food they are consuming is not very much neat, it's not pure, it's not organic, it's not healthy. So I have got my farms and I would like to donate all the harvests of my farms so that these people get enough healthy and nutritional rich food. So 3 people were ready for giving the comfort for the prisoners. The water, the bed comfort and food. The 4th and the final philanthropist, he differed from all these 3 people. Okay. What he did was, he took all the keys of the prison cells and he released all the people out of the prisons. All the prisoners were freed. And he said, I would like to willingly take the penalty of doing what I have done. So now, as far as the story is concerned, whose charity philanthropy work is so much impressive? You tell me. That is a statement. In the place of being right, instead start being kind. Instead of being right in a situation, try to be kind. As far as when you become kind in that situation, you will have that peace of mind. That is the reason for the statement. So, basically speaking, this story has been narrated to show the kind of freedom and the kind of kindness that you can exert towards the world. So, in the book called as How to Get What You Really Want, Dr. Wayne Dyer says a very important statement, and the statement is about 7-worded statement. And 3 years back, I made a video about that statement. That was not a very dynamic video, not as confronting and as face-to-face as we are right now. The statement goes like this: as you think, so shall you be. As you think, so shall you be. It appears to be a very simplistic statement, but the meaning is very, very depthful. He comes up with a statement stating that whatever you are thinking, I would like to read the statement for you so that you'd be clearly having an understanding for it. You cannot manifest what you want if your attention is on what always has been. You cannot manifest what you want if your attention is on what always has been. If you keep your attention on what always has been, then what always has been will be what you will continue to manifest. If you keep your attention on what always has been, then what always has been will be what you will continue to manifest. Remember the statement of rich get richer, poor get poorer. the manifestation happens according to the thoughts. That's why Dr. Wayne Dyer is really making an emphasis on this statement. As you think, so shall you be. When an unemployed graduate always thinks about the weird kind of a situation that he's facing, and he's always thinking about the unemployment, then he's going to continue receiving the same kind of environment. When a person who is being put into lots of taxes, this is very much predominantly associated with our condition right now. We are levied with lots of taxes by the government. We are levied with lots of new reforms and new rules as far as financial stability is concerned. And if we keep on mumbling about that, we are going to get even more new kinds of things to mumble. If we are keeping on speaking about the adverse and scarce things that are looming around, we are definitely going to get the same things continuing and roaming around. So we need to change the manifestation by changing our thoughts. If you frequently think about, oh my God, how weird my life is. My life has always been like this. I've been struggling for this. I've been struggling for that. This man is not good in my life. That woman is not good in my life. This kind of people are really completely against me. These people are really trying to pull my legs down. So these kinds of adverse kind of mumbling are going to manufacture the same things that you are experiencing right now. This is a very profound statement. It's not a statement, it's the truth. Even if you don't like it, it's the truth. So we need to seriously consider how we are behaving. The success ratio that you have been getting so far in life has been determined by this philosophy. As it is said, a person's thoughts and deeds are attached with the soul. Okay. If a person is weighing 75 kilograms, and if the person, after he dies, they again weigh the person. And even after the soul passes by, the body's weight remains as 75 kilograms. So life is weightless. So your thoughts are attached with that soul. And the soul is becoming so powerful only because of the thoughts. In the ancient stories, you might have listened to the emperors sacrificing their backbone to their followers and ancestors and the people who are going to have the life as disciples. They used to burn the body of that big emperor, and they used to hand over the spinal cord bone to the disciples. It's because all the thoughts, all the belief systems, all the things that are attached to the soul are having fragmented into the spinal cord. That's the ancestral belief. Not scientifically proven, but that's the ancestral belief. Even if you find out some epic statements in some of our spiritual epics, you will understand this. That emperor gave his spinal cord. The Brahmastra is considered to be the spinal cord, right? So, likewise, we have to give continual monitoring over the thinking pattern. That's what is really mentioned over here in this concept. So, what we are speaking here is about the higher level of human awareness. We all live life in such spans, and we have our own ways and means of living life. And some people have got good level of human awareness, and some people get a U-turn in the life and they expose themselves into something that they have not been exposed to so far in their life, and they get high level of human awareness. For example, if you start reading spiritual books, if you start reading some self-help books, or if you're reading the books authored by people like Wayne Dyer or Brain Tracy or Deepak Chopra or Napoleon Hill, you will automatically have the higher level of human awareness. These people make your life so easy. That's why in most of my recent videos, I periodically ask the youngsters to cultivate the habit of reading. And because of the smartphone culture that we have right now, reading has abruptly stopped, right? So coming back, this concept will be understood only if we have high level of human awareness. Okay, so a person's thinking and a person's kind of agility is always dependent upon what is inside. Okay, so if you take an orange, there's a metaphor of an orange. If you take an orange and you just squeeze the orange, never in the entire sphere of earth you will have apple juice coming out of the orange. You will only get orange juice. What comes outside is what is actually resonated inside. Alright. So likewise, when somebody is screwing you in your life, when somebody is trying to irritate you, when somebody is trying to put you in a pressure, or when you are having some sort of fear that are undefined, what manifests out of you is what is inside. Alright. The weaknesses that you are having inside will be manifesting, and invariably that comes and attacks the other person. Then you can't even call yourself as a leader. if you got so much of negativity that are coming outside when people or circumstances are putting pressure on you, it means you are actually having a very big trouble. You can't call yourself as a leader because nobody is getting positively impacted because of your behavior, because of your words, and because of your circumstances. So we need to change this. We need to have this higher level of human awareness. We need to have this kind of different form of thinking. So the statement that I have mentioned, the two statements that I mentioned a couple of minutes back, have got heavy impact. In fact, if you have a good view on those two statements, you will really understand how easy to live life. Right? All you have to do is take control of the 6 inches from this ear to ear, and you become so much flatter or a different new segment. So, I would like to give a story of a person who has been having his entire family being so much shredded because of one particular action that the father took. The father left the family. He walked away. Right? So the elder son of the family always has some sort of hatred towards the father. And with the current level of admonitions and all the struggles and sufferings that he had in his family, and the deficit of the finance for funding his family, exclusively taking care of his mother, was increasingly become difficult for him. So he started developing the hatred, started developing the anger, started developing the kind of resentment towards this guy called as his father. There was huge resentment and huge anger towards his father, and he was not able to forgive him. Philosophically speaking, when you are having these kinds of emotions and feelings inside, you will not be able to move forward. I'm speaking about Dr. Wayne Dyer, right? So the man himself says the same thing. I would like to invite you to watch this clip. The boy that I'm speaking about is Wayne Dyer. Okay. 6 years old, his father left, and then after he becomes an adult, he comes across the news that the father unfortunately passes away, and he goes to his graveyard and he says, "Look, I have been having hatred of you. This hatred, this anger that I have been having with you, or having on you, have been pulling me back. It made me stuck in one particular place. So from now on, I would like to give you love. I forgive you. I give you love." Listen to the man himself saying the same thing.
One of the most powerful lessons that you can ever learn, I had to learn as a young man. My own father was a man who walked away. He left. He left home when I was just a baby. Left my mother, who's sitting right here, about this person that my older brothers told me about, and that when my mother got her family back together again when I was 9 years old, and did all that she could to make a family again, with all the hardships. This was a man who never made a phone call, who never sent a penny, who spent some time in prison, who was an alcoholic, who died of cirrhosis of the liver at the age of 49 and was buried in a pauper's grave in Biloxi, Mississippi. And it wasn't until I went to his grave and was able to stand there, and I used to dream about this man and have this enormous hatred for this person whom I had never seen, just based upon what he had done to my own mother and to my brothers and so on, and all of the stories that I had heard and all the research that I had done. And I ended up at his grave 10 years after he had died, when I finally found out that he was dead. It was on the 27th of August. It was 1974. And what I did transformed my life. What I did is I believe I was sent there by God, or whatever you want to call that divine spirit, the divine presence. And my life at that time wasn't working. I was overweight. My relationships weren't working. My writing wasn't working. There were a lot of things that weren't going well for me in my life at that time. Not badly, but they weren't going at the level that I knew I was capable of getting to, because I was filled with this hatred, this anger, this bitterness. And so what I did is I stood there on his grave, on this little marker in the ground, and I said, "From now on, I send you love. I forgive you." And once I let go of that anger and that hatred and all of my attachment to the bonding that I had done with these wounds, and let go of that and cleared that out of my life, My writing began to take place at a much higher level. In fact, I wrote Erroneous Zones in very, very short time after that. I began to get myself back in shape. I began to eat better. I began exercising, got my weight down. All of it was allowed to flow when I released that energy of negativity and blame and hatred. They say that you never die from a snake bite. It isn't the bite. And you can't be unbitten. It's in the wake. What kills you is the venom that continues to pour through you long after the bite has taken place.
So as you have seen that clip, he says, from now on I would like to give you love. I would like to forgive you. I don't want to take any of the hatred with me. And he says after that, things happen. Okay? After that, his professional chronicles took up. He started writing his book. The publisher started showing up, and he became so much famous in this given discipline of his life. He was an author, he was a therapist, and he was a wonderful professor in Wayne State University in America, and he was very successful. Now leave Wayne there, come to you. What are the kind of stuck up principles that you have right now? You have hatred, anger, this man did this to me, that girl did this to me, this woman did this to me, this group of people have done that to me. Relieve all the clutches. Okay, so just like Dr. Wayne said, you have to forgive them and you have to give them love from deep down inside. It doesn't mean that I have to give you a mandate to go and meet them quite often and set a courtship along with the relationship of all those people. No, just forgive them. Just forget. You just ease up into your mind. And that's where things start, transforming. That's what is the biggest philosophy here. All right. So here, if you do these things that we have been discussing so far, if you do this, for your better understanding, I'm listing those things that we have discussed over here. And if you do these things, then you become ready for getting what you really, 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 really want. Okay. So there is a wonder that why this word really is being repeated 4 times. We are going to see what each really means actually. So for each word really, we have got a meaning. The first really means you have to wish for something. It's actually the 4 steps, the 4 really repetition of the words. It's actually 4 steps. The first really denotes you have to wish. I wish for something. You're 25 years old, you've been working for a private organization, and you want to make a new transition. You want to make a startup. So first of all, wish for the startup. I would like to wish that I would like to start, I would like to commence a startup where I have my own people who are working under me and people who are really willing to contribute along with me towards the society. Second, really, is to have a very predominant desire towards that wish. This should happen. This must happen. By the mid of 2019, I must have that startup commenced. By the mid of 2019, I should be tangible enough to attract the respective people for having that startup. In God's grace, I will be getting the loan sanctioned for my startup, and I will be sitting at an office, and the business vertical will be naturally planned, and I will have the people who are ready to work along with me, properly prospering along with me. Everything that has to be done, everything that is going to happen, I really wish that I would like to have the same kind of prosperity. So the desire, the second really is desire. The third really denotes intent. Frame the intention. Now, things have brought into the paper. You have the feasibility plan for the startup, okay? And going along with the example that I drafted, right? So you have everything put into paper, you have written everything in black and white, you have formed a feasibility report of how the project is going to turn around, you intend, you have been, the first two stages of wish and desire, you have been having that into the mind as an unconstructed kind of a platform. Right now you have got a very tangible information, right? So you have got plans also. So here is what the plan is taking place. It is getting framed out. That's the third really denoting. The fourth and final really denotes the passion. No going back. Here in this stage, nobody can come and dilute your mind that it is not going to happen for you. Nobody can come and discourage you. Nobody can come and pull your strings back And nobody can come and say that it is a very, very abnormal kind of a time and it is a pretty ordinary idea that you have. Nobody can really put your idea down because you are so clear, so empathetic and so much emphasized upon the level of getting it done and no going back at all. You're very passionate. 2 years back, as a 25 years old youngster, you are working for an organization. That organization had been started by a particular person by taking these 4 steps. Now you are going to take this. You are going to take that same 4 steps. First, wish. Second, have a desire. Third, have the intention and prepare the plans. And fourth, have the passion, put all the plans into action. So this is what is called as how to get what you really, 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 really want. I wanted to share this information with you, and I did. And try to apply this principle. And when you are trying to apply this principle, you will have lots of negative circumstances, negative people, negative thoughts, negative feelings might occur. And during that particular time, I would like to give you a metaphor. When you go and watch a movie, what do? You book the ticket, you just get into the movie hall, and you have a freedom of time, freedom of thoughts, and you even put your cell phone on a silent mode, and you don't want anybody to come and disturb you. Even if you have gone along with some companions, you don't want the companion to come and disturb you. Right? After a certain point of time, when the movie's screen started casting, and you don't want any distraction to take place. So you also get into the script of the movie. Right? So there, we get into a psychological parenthesis. And that psychological parenthesis is written over here as a statement. It is, willingly suspend the disbelief. Willingly suspend the disbelief. It means when you watch a movie, you suspend all the disbelief. You suspend all the practical, realistic logic. You suspend everything that is coming and asking as a rational question. Just immerse into the movie. Right? You just believe whatever the director says. You just believe whatever the actor and actresses do. You just believe whatever the script is being. And you're just having fun by watching it. It's called as willingly suspending the disbelief. Your conscious mind knows that this is all humbug. I mean, this is completely weird. It's bizarre. There is no logic at all. Right? Okay. But your mind comes and says that, yeah, it's not logical, but you are here for entertainment. So just go enjoy. We all watched 2.0 movie like that. Logically, completely impossible, but we had fun. And a movie that has grossed more than 650 crores today. It's because of that willingly suspending of disbelief by you and me. The movie has become a success. Why am I giving that particular anecdote here? Why am I giving that metaphor over here? This is how you have to work towards your goal. Willingly suspend your disbelief that you will not be able to finish the goal. Willingly suspend the disbelief that it is not going to be possible for you. Willingly suspend the disbelief that your resources are not going to be sufficient. Willingly suspend the disbelief that you are not going to earn any profit because of this business venture. Willingly suspend the disbelief that your teammates are not going to cooperate. So these are all the things that could crop in your mind when you are in the process of doing that particular task. And during that point of time, I want you to use this particular strategy. Willingly suspend your disbelief. Your disbelief has to be suspended and believe so strongly that I can really do it. And then, my dear friends, you can really get what you really want. Thank you for watching this video. I'll be meeting you in my next.